The internal adjustments of the Moonraker FA5000 CB radio.
Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. So I've dug out one of my older CB radios. In fact, this is the first CB radio I bought with my own money. It's a Moonraker FA5000. There's supposed to be a sticker across that says lock. This radio is not capable of AM or FM, not without some severe modifications. Although it might be locked out in the firmware, I don't actually know. So at the moment it's on UK channel 20. It's a 80 channel set. So it's got a scan button 919. This functions as a lock button. It doesn't do AM or FM, so it's got mic and RF gain. RF gain and mic gain are both set to full on this radio, so it tends to function better that way. It's got a modulation meter, which is a bit odd, but I think that is a nod to the AM side of it. And to get into UK and EU channels, press and hold that. It just defaults to channel 9 on each one. It doesn't remember where you were, which is a little bit annoying. So we've put it back onto channel 20, and I'll just check my switch is in the right position for the next, which it is, for the next demonstration. Because if I key this radio up, the backlight display changes colour to red. So I'm just going to put that back into the UK channels, because that's what I'm interested in, not the EU ones. So I don't know what the adjustments are in this, but I have taken some initial readings. So go to my calibrated meter over here, calibrated against a Midland 3001 serviced by Tango 21 himself. If I key that up, it's not quite making 3 watts, so it does need a tune-up. Its receive sensitivity, which I've checked off camera, is actually relatively okay. It's not quite on frequency. The frequency counter's up there, and the very radio it's calibrated against, it keeps going out of focus. There we go. Is sat right on top of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open this up, and I'm going to have a look at all the adjustments inside. Because I don't think anyone's ever done this radio before. And it's going to be a little difficult because I don't have a schematic diagram for it. There was one in the manual, but the manual got destroyed long ago, so I'm pretty much on my own here. So let's get this opened. Okay, so I've got the lid off the FA5000. This is pretty much everything that's in it. This I'm going to assume to be the VCO, so I'm not going to go anywhere near that. So I'm going to guess these ones up here are all to do with transmit, and I'll presume these are all receive for the moment, and possibly FM discriminator, I'm not sure. I've identified that as for the squelch, and I've identified that as the signal meter. Now, despite the fact this set can't do AM as configured, it has this. I believe that is an AM modulation transformer. So why would a set that's pretty much set up as FM only have an AM modulation transformer in there? Who knows? There's no preset to adjust AM modulation that I can see, because I've only got 2 presets to identify, which are here and here. I don't know what either of those do. But other than that, I've worked out what 2 of the presets do, and all I've got to do is figure out where the transmitter and receive are. So I'm going to do that right now. Right, I've already found evidence of the screwdriver experts being in this thing. It was a very long time ago. So I've removed this from there. If I bring that back into shot, as you can see, that's been chipped. And that's part of, I believe that's part of the power adjustment in the transmitter. Because I've identified the transmitter so far as that one, and that one, and this one. And I was a bit suspicious of this, so I've removed it completely. And lo and behold, I found it to be broken because of the screwdriver experts. because I did buy this radio actually second-hand on eBay. And it did work, was working fine. But, you know, what can you do when a screwdriver experts come along? They're brilliant. This is before I knew the sort of damage and carnage they could cause, but, you know, I don't think I have one of these ferrites spare, which is a bit annoying. And again, that's why you don't put screwdrivers in these. So I've identified the transmitter lineup, and the other cores didn't appear to be broken, but it hasn't really improved on the power at the moment. So we'll see what happens. I'll keep going through it. Okay, so I've worked out that this, and this are all the receiver. So we've got this light through here. I'm not sure if that's the way you actually adjust that. There's the adjustment for the 455IF. This one, I believe, is AM detector, because it doesn't appear to be doing anything. And that one, I believe, is the FM detector. This adjustment down here, I don't know what it does. That one there is FM deviation. This is probably AM modulation, although I'd expect it to be up near this modulation transformer if it was. And I've already gone through what the others do. So I've managed to go through that, and despite this broken core, but I still can't get 4 watts out of it. So I think this isn't going to do 4 watts, is it? I think there may be other issues with it. But I know somebody has actually been in this before I got it, because this capacitor, the one that was previously there, has vented its guts onto here, where someone's tried to put 24 volts to it, I think. Because that would have only been a 16 volt rated capacitor. Now, the reference crystal and the adjustment for that are here, yet this adjustment doesn't seem to be doing anything. I can't pull it up. It doesn't move. It stays on whatever frequency it just happens to be on, which is slightly annoying. So I'll have to investigate that and find out what's going on there. But that's pretty much the entire insides of that, and more or less what things do. Although in my example, it turns out the screwdriver expert had been in there, although someone had also replaced this capacitor here in the power supply section, which is quite useful to know. And I managed to tune it up a little bit. I've not got much out of it, but I managed to tune it up. Anyway, hope this is of some use to anyone who wants to try and get one of these going. I mean, it's certainly of use to me, because I've finally figured out what's what, and it only took me what? I got this thing in 2004, I think it might have been. And yeah, about 20 years. There you go. So I'd say it's the first CB I bought with my own money. I've never been in it really and had a look at the adjustments until today, because obviously back then I didn't have the appropriate test gear and didn't really know what did what inside a CB radio, so left well alone until obviously I had all of the equipment I have now. Anyway, as I say, I hope it was of some use, and 7.3s, I'll catch you in the next one. Bonus extra footage, because who doesn't want bonus extra footage? I've changed the trimmer and removed the capacitor next to it, but to no avail on transmit. So transmit's frequency must be done somewhere else. Because if I turn this, let's bring in my oscilloscope for this. There we go. It's got a very strange setup where that reference crystal, the transmit frequency isn't controlled by the trimmer. It's the receive frequency. So that's now more or less on frequency. And all I had to do was put a sine wave through and do this. So if I turn that off, it goes off. Let me turn it back on. Listen for when it doesn't sound strangled or anything. There we go. Let's turn that down. So that's what this red trimmer does. This is actually a swapped one because I swapped it out. I didn't intend to try the original one without basically trying a different one first. So I'm going to put the original one back in and see if we have the same effect. So this bonus extra footage has gone across another day. The original trimmer and the original capacitor are back in there. And I've managed to get it to receive all right. I'm just going to turn that on. And, well, I've got to sort out the squelch, haven't I? It's a concentric adjustment. I don't like that very much. Okay. Actually, the speaker's not plugged in. I happens to disconnect it. Ah, yes, I know why I disconnected that now. I disconnected that because I was working on something else, but it didn't quite go to plan. There we go. So it's all set up properly, so I'll bring the scope in, if I can. This is going to be the fun part, so I'm not actually using a tripod here, because I've took it off the tripod. And there's the waveform on the scope. I'm not going to adjust the trimmer, it's fine, it's done. But as I said before, that only affects the receiver. The transmitter is actually, if I can get, without the bottom falling off and things shorting out, which fortunately they haven't, you'll see in there, there's a crystal. Just trying to be careful here. And near that crystal there are two little trimmers. It's going to be the fun part, tilting this up. You could just see them there. Turns out, that's how you set up the transmit frequency. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that back onto the transmit line. And I'm going to key it up. The microphone's landed on the floor when I did that. I'm going to go to the frequency counter in a moment. So there's the frequency counter. And hopefully, after however long it's going to take, 'cause this has got a very slow gate time, about 10 seconds a time, so I've got to hold it down for a bit, which is not ideal. 2779124. That's close enough, I'd say. Let's give another 10 seconds. 1, 2, 3. And give another 10. And see if it's a, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 4. That's actually fine. That's not really that low, to be honest. It's as close as I could get it, given that none of my trimmer tools would actually fit that. So I had to, well, do what I didn't want to do, basically. So it's 1, 2, 3, toggling 1, 2, 4. Turn the volume down. And that's pretty much it. That's the complexities of this Moonraker FA5000 now revealed for all to see. I'm going to turn the power off. Turn the power supply off. And, well, there you go. Right. The only thing I can't do on it is deviation, but I am working to sort out a deviation meter. I've actually seen a little project online that I can use to actually make one. So I'm going to give that a go and see if I can calibrate that. Obviously, it will be calibrated against that, because that I know has the correct deviation set. It's actually on YouTube, the evidence of that, as well as the service sheet, which I don't actually know where I've put that, but I do have it because I actually laminated it. And this is one of the few radios that I've not actually seen Tango 21 do. And personally, I wouldn't recommend anyone tries to service one of these, because it's really complicated. Whilst you've got the transmitter where you would expect it, although on this one's got a broken core in there, as I've already mentioned. The receiver there, kind of where you expect it. Still got some holdovers from its AM/FM lineage. And the transmit and receiver set independently. So it was a bit of a nightmare, but I got there in the end, and it seems to work fine, apart from the fact it's not doing the power. So either the core in that needs changing, I'm going to bring it back in, or these transistors will need attention. So that's something for another time. I'm not doing that now. But other than that, It seems to be okay. I will have to put it on a spectrum analyzer for obvious reasons. I do have a tiny SA that will do that. I just don't have an attenuator at the moment. That's a work in progress. But getting all the other stuff done would be the first thing I'd want to do. So that's it. That's the Moonraker FA5000, the most complicated CB radio I have ever worked on. Right, I'm getting this uploaded now. 7.3 for now. Catch you in the next one.